For years, we told ourselves a comforting lie. We blamed Miles. We blamed schedules. We blamed a messy divorce. We looked at the space between Utah and Flagstaff and convinced ourselves that geography was the only reason Kody Brown vanished from his youngest daughter's life. It felt easier to believe that than to face something far darker. But what if distance was never the problem at all? What if truly Brown wasn't drifting away, but being deliberately kept out? Because when you strip away the excuses, what starts to emerge is not neglect by accident, but exclusion by design. Fans, insiders, and longtime viewers are now connecting dots that were hiding in plain sight, and the picture they form is deeply unsettling. This wasn't about calendars clashing. It wasn't about COVID rules. It wasn't even about divorce. It looks disturbingly like a quiet quarantine. One child removed from the rest, on purpose. The most chilling part? The suggestion isn't that Kody and Robyn simply forgot about Truly. It's that they're afraid of her. Look back at the old footage. Not through nostalgia, but through contrast. There was a time when Truly was everywhere in Solomon and Oriella's lives. Holding Solomon as a baby. Laughing with Ari in the cul-de-sac. Acting less like a half-sister and more like a third parent in training. The bond wasn't forced. It wasn't scripted. It was natural, warm, and unmistakably real. Now place that next to the present. Look at recent images of Kody and Robyn together. The tension in their faces. The defensive posture. They don't look like a family enjoying peace. They look like gatekeepers guarding a fortress. And then look at Truly in Utah. Confident. Stylish. Expressive. A teenager who has clearly found her voice. To most of us, she looks free. But through Kody and Robyn's lens, freedom looks like a threat. Imagine being a teenage girl who survived the collapse of her family, finally finding stability, finally becoming herself, only to realize your own father sees you as a problem. Not broken. Not lost. Dangerous. That is the accusation quietly circulating right now. That Truly's independence has been rebranded as contamination, and that Solomon and Oriella are being shielded from catching it. In their world, confidence isn't growth. It's rebellion. Individuality isn't strength. It's infection. And this theory doesn't come from nowhere. The timeline matters. During the pandemic, when rules became weapons, Truly tried. She followed instructions. She stood back. She wore the mask. She did everything asked of her just to see her siblings. But watch those scenes again, closely. Not Kody, watch Robyn. The hovering. The anxiety. The way her eyes track Truly, not as a child, but as a variable she can't control. At the time, we thought it was about germs. Now it feels like it was about influence. After Christine moved to Utah, Kody promised effort. He talked about custody. He claimed he wanted involvement. But promises without action are just performance, and his actions vanished. Not because he couldn't travel. He did. Not because he lacked time. He found it for everything else. The truth is simpler and uglier. Truly changed. And that terrified him. Since Utah, Truly has flourished. New style. New confidence. Sharp humor. A mind that questions instead of obeys. She reads widely. She expresses herself boldly. She doesn't shrink. To viewers, it's a glow-up. To Kody, it's defiance embodied. He doesn't see a daughter anymore. He sees Christine's independence walking around with eyeliner and opinions. And in the belief system Kody and Robyn cling to, a girl who thinks for herself is labeled one thing: wayward. That word carries weight. It implies moral failure, spiritual danger, a child who has gone wrong. By applying that label, everything else becomes justified. Ignoring her isn't cruelty, it's protection. Cutting contact isn't abandonment, it's safeguarding the tender-aged children. It's a convenient delusion that turns neglect into righteousness. Now ask yourself what truly represents inside Robyn's home. Her happiness alone is disruptive. Her existence challenges the narrative that isolation equals safety. If Solomon and Oriella see their sister thriving outside the mansion, questions start forming. Why is she happy? Why did she leave? Why is Dad so angry if he's right? Truly is living proof that life beyond Kody Brown isn't collapse, it's relief. That truth cannot be allowed inside. This is where the wall went up. Not loudly, not officially, quietly. Visits became difficult. Calls went unanswered. Excuses stacked up. The door never slammed. It was slowly closed until Truly stopped knocking. And then Cody could say, "See? She doesn't want us." A self-fulfilling prophecy engineered through discomfort and silence. And silence is powerful. Notice what's missing now. No FaceTime clips. No casual mentions. No shared moments online. Ask who controls the phones. Who controls the iPads? If Truly sends a message, who sees it first? If a call comes through, who decides whether it gets answered? Gatekeeping doesn't require cruelty, only access. Then there are the gifts. Birthdays. Christmas. Christine doesn't forget those. Truly doesn't either. Packages were sent. That much feels certain. The question is what happened next. Were they handed over? Or quietly intercepted? Left unopened? Buried in a house already drowning in clutter? A wrapped box from Truly, sitting unseen, represents something Robyn can't afford: remembrance. Because if Solomon opens a gift from his sister, he remembers her. He asks about her. And right now, forgetting seems to be the goal. The darkest layer isn't exclusion. It's indoctrination. Children ask questions. Where is Truly? Why doesn't she come anymore? The answers given matter. And it's unlikely those answers involve honesty. More likely, they frame Truly as the one who left. The one who changed. The one who chose the world over the family. Independence is turned into sin. Curiosity becomes cautionary tale. Love is slowly replaced with fear. Especially for Oriella. Anyone who watches the show knows Oriella is strong-willed, outspoken, and expressive. In other words, she's a lot like Truly. And that must terrify Robyn. Truly is the future Oriella could have if allowed to grow freely. So the separation becomes preventative. Strategic. If Oriella never sees what freedom looks like, she won't know to want it. But here's what Cody and Robyn fail to understand. Control has an expiry date. Solomon and Oriella will grow up. They'll get phones, internet access, curiosity. And when they look back, they won't find a bitter mother tearing people down. They'll find a trail of love. Photos. Smiles. Proof that Utah was always open. That the distance wasn't rejection, it was imposed. Christine knows this. Her silence isn't weakness. It's strategy. She doesn't argue. She documents joy. Every post of Truly thriving quietly dismantles the wayward narrative. It shows that leaving didn't destroy her, it saved her. And that is the most devastating truth of all. Because Cody believes he is the son. Truly proves he isn't. Strip away the religion. Strip away the excuses. What remains is this. Two adults chose control over connection. They cancelled a child who wouldn't conform. They protected their bubble by sacrificing a sibling bond. And they did it calmly enough to deny it ever happened. Truly Brown wasn't banned because she was sick. She was banned because she's immune. Immune to manipulation. Immune to fear. Immune to a system that demands obedience instead of love. She didn't bend. She didn't erase herself to earn affection. She walked away intact. And that is why she's winning. The real tragedy isn't what Truly lost. It's what Solomon and Oriella are losing. A sister who loved them fiercely and showed them there's another way to live. This story isn't over. The evidence is stacking. The silence is cracking. And the truth has a way of finding daylight. When it does, only one side will be able to say they protected a child without breaking her. And it won't be the people guarding the mansion. For the longest time, we told ourselves it was nothing more than miles and schedules. We thought the distance between Utah and Flagstaff explained why Cody Brown seemed absent from his youngest daughter's life. We blamed divorce logistics, calendars, and timing. But what if that explanation is too simple? What if this separation wasn't a coincidence at all? What if Truly Brown being apart from Solomon and Oriella isn't accidental, isn't just unfortunate, and isn't about geography? What if it was deliberate? Fans and insiders are now connecting subtle clues that suggest something far darker. A quiet isolation orchestrated by the very adults supposed to care for her. This isn't about laziness or oversight. This is about fear. Cody and Robyn reportedly see Truly not as a daughter, but as a threat. A growing, confident, independent young woman whose presence challenges the tightly controlled world they've built around their younger children. Look at the old footage, Truly cradling Solomon as a baby, chasing Ariella with laughter echoing down the Las Vegas cul-de-sacs. There was love, unfiltered and unmistakable. She wasn't just a half-sister. She was a guardian, a guide, a bright presence in the middle of a complex family puzzle. Now, compare that to the present. Images of Cody and Robyn together show tension, suspicion, a defensive posture that feels almost military. And Truly? In Utah, she's a teenager finding herself, edgy, expressive, unafraid. To us, it's inspiring. To them, it's dangerous. Imagine being that girl. The world you grew up in has fractured. You've carved out your own space. You've found your voice. And then the people who should love you most see that freedom and recoil. Your father doesn't see your strength. He sees risk. Your stepmother doesn't see your happiness. She sees contamination. It's not negligence. It's shielding. It's a quarantine. And Truly is the only one being locked out. And the evidence is all around. During the pandemic, when distance and rules were supposedly to protect everyone, Truly followed every guideline. She stood back. She masked up. She obeyed the rules to remain close to her siblings. Yet in the background, Robyn watched with intensity, not just worried about germs, but monitoring influence, monitoring independence. Was this the moment the seeds of separation were planted? Possibly. What started as caution became control. What began as distance became a barrier. And when Christine moved to Utah, promises of involvement dissolved. Cody could have driven to see his daughter. He had time. He had resources. But he didn't. Not because he was busy, but because Truly had become someone he could no longer tolerate, someone vibrant, strong, free. This is where the narrative shifts from disappointment to calculated exclusion. The story is no longer about absence, it's about purpose. Truly isn't missing. She's being kept away. Since moving to Utah, Truly has transformed completely. She's no longer the quiet, overshadowed child of Flagstaff. She's bold, stylish, articulate, and unapologetically herself. Dark eyeliner, alternative fashion, sharp wit. She wears her personality like armor. Every book she reads, every conversation she holds, every step she takes outside the McMansion's walls screams independence. To outsiders, it's a triumph. To Cody and Robyn, it's rebellion personified. This isn't just about style. It's about power. Cody demands control, obedience, submission. To him, family means hierarchy. A daughter who questions, who thinks, who thrives without his permission, that's dangerous. And in their belief system, Truly's growing autonomy isn't a victory, it's contamination. Insiders whisper the word that has been quietly used in the household, wayward. It's heavy with meaning, sinful, misguided, lust. By calling Truly this, they justify the cruelty. They tell themselves they aren't punishing a child, they're protecting Solomon and Ariella from her influence. Her courage, her curiosity, her refusal to shrink in their shadow becomes a threat that must be contained. Think about what this means for Solomon and Ariella. They were once close to Truly, guided by her love, comforted by her presence. Now, they are being told, directly or indirectly, that their sister is dangerous. That her choices are wrong. That her independence is a lesson in disobedience. Their admiration and trust are being manipulated into fear. Imagine a home where the walls are invisible but impenetrable. Every phone call monitored, every message filtered, every gift delayed or intercepted. The quietest acts become weapons, a missed FaceTime, an unopened package. The effect is subtle but devastating. Truly tries to reach out. The children never get the full message. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, the bond fades. It's not just about the absence of visits. It's about controlling the story inside the home. Every interaction is carefully curated so the younger children see Truly not as a sister, but as a cautionary tale. Someone who left, someone who chose wrong, someone whose independence is framed as a sin. And that fear isn't imaginary. Every time Ariella shows confidence, curiosity, or boldness, the household witnesses the truly effect. A child thriving outside their control becomes a threat to the narrative Robyn has meticulously constructed. She can't allow Ariella to see a path to freedom. She can't risk Solomon questioning the rules. So Truly is kept at a distance, not out of hate, not out of neglect, but out of the fear that seeing her thriving could destabilize the carefully crafted bubble of control inside the mansion. Every photo of Truly laughing, exploring, growing in Utah, every glimpse of her living without fear, without restraint, is a silent act of defiance. She's a proof that life outside Cody and Robyn's control is possible, that happiness doesn't require obedience, and that independence isn't dangerous, it's human. And this, above all else, terrifies them, because they've spent years building an illusion that the world outside is unsafe, that obedience equals love, that loyalty is measured in compliance. Truly proves every lie they've told themselves wrong. The next chapter is the quiet cruelty, the secret meeting, the silent treatment, and the subtle war waged inside the McMansion. Behind closed doors, discussions happened when cameras weren't rolling, decisions made that would change the sibling bond forever. Reports suggest a confrontation, maybe over Zoom, maybe in person, where Truly's presence was debated. Her eyeliner, her fashion, her opinions, her independence, all framed as dangerous to the younger children. The phrase culture of our home emerged as a weapon. It sounds polite, almost protective, but it carries a sharp edge. You don't belong here. Simply being herself, exploring her identity, made Truly unwelcome. Any attempt to visit was blocked not by law or lack of space, but by ideology. Presence itself became a liability. This is when the silent treatment began. Calls left unanswered. Messages ignored. Packages, carefully crafted by Truly and Christine, either delayed, intercepted, or left to gather dust. Every thoughtful gesture turned into a casualty of control. The result? Solomon and Ariella begin to believe that their sister has abandoned them, when the truth is far darker. They've been cut off deliberately. It's psychological warfare. Every interruption, every filtered text, every unseen gift reinforces the idea that Truly is wayward, dangerous, and outside the family's moral sphere. The children are being taught, subtly, that curiosity and independence are threats, and the ultimate lesson is obedience above love. But even within this cruelty, cracks begin to show. The children will grow. They will get access to information, photos, and videos. They will see Truly living, happy, thriving. They will realize that the sister they were taught to fear is actually kind, funny, and resilient. The narrative Robyn built around control and fear will start to crumble. Meanwhile, Christine's strategy is quiet but devastating. She doesn't attack. She doesn't yell. She lets evidence do the talking. Every photo of Truly smiling in Utah, every clip of her enjoying life, every post showing love and growth, it's a missile aimed directly at the false narrative of wayward and dangerous. She doesn't need to fight. She lets Truly's happiness dismantle the lies. And what does this all reveal about Cody and Robyn? Strip away the excuses, the religious reasoning, the claims of protection. What remains is a conscious choice: control over connection, ego over empathy, pride over love. They canceled a child not because she did wrong, but because she refused to conform. The result is a house full of rules, possessions, and silence. A kingdom that no one truly wants to live in, except those who enforce the rules. Truly, on the other hand, is free. She survived the isolation, the labels, the attempts to erase her. She didn't compromise herself to earn affection. She didn't shrink her identity to gain approval. She's thriving, and in doing so, she's exposing the fragility of the walls built to contain her. This isn't just a story about exclusion. It's about resilience, truth, and the courage to live unafraid. Truly Brown isn't wayward. She is proof that individuality cannot be caged, that love cannot be manipulated, and that happiness cannot be quarantined. And in the end, that is the victory that Cody and Robyn can never take away. While the McMansion remains cold and controlled, Truly's life in Utah is vibrant, joyful, and unbound. She didn't just survive. She flourished. And by simply being herself, she's already won the war. Now we reach the final stage, the reckoning. While Cody and Robyn fortified their walls, obsessed with shielding Solomon and Oriella from Truly, they completely underestimated the power of evidence and happiness. Christine has quietly been playing a long game. She hasn't shouted or attacked. She hasn't created drama. Every post, every story, every glimpse of Truly thriving is a subtle, devastating strategy. Each photo of Truly smiling, enjoying life, surrounded by love, is a statement. Control can't win. Labels like wayward and dangerous crumble in the face of joy and independence. Truly isn't broken. She isn't manipulated. She isn't confined by fear. She is thriving. And that is the ultimate act of rebellion. Think about the contrast. In the McMansion, the house is tense, silent, filled with anxiety. Gifts sit untouched. Faces are guarded.